As far as what I'm trying to accomplish, you know, a couple of things. One, I was just telling my locker room this the other day. I want a team that is happy playing for the team that they're on, which is us. I also want them to enjoy being a part of our locker room. We talk about real life stuff, real life issues. We talk about the SFL. We talk about, you know, cooking. Some of those guys talk about it. We talk about pretty much everything from A to Z, you know. So, but also they're here because they want to win. And so I'm not satisfied, you know, finishing 4-8 like we did season 14 or 5-7 like we did season 15 or 6-6, even though we made the playoff in season 16. But I'm never going to stop trying. I'm never going to not give 100% effort. I'm going to continue to provide maximum effort because my team deserves that.
Welcome out to the desert for the final game of Week 13 here in the Simulation Football League, live on YouTube. The Arizona Scorpions will play host to the 9-1 Baltimore Vultures. And as Wigmore comes out 5 wide in the gun, Wigmore fires it near sideline, wide open man, he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Ivory Irvin.
In the Arizona, it looked like a zone coverage there. It's a hole in the zone, catches the ball, and he's gone for 6.
Wigmore takes a short drop, throws a pick. Coming back the other way is the Scorpions, and that was Everett Garris in the corner with the interception, sets them up nicely right at the Baltimore 15-yard line.
There, just reading Wigmore's eyes, knowing where the ball is going, and grabs it for the interception.
Short drop, throws it end zone, touchdown, Arizona. Ryan Owens with the reception. And off to Moses, good blocking in front, still has good blocking. He's hitting the afterburners inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. First and goal, DJ Moses. DJ Moses starting to come alive here in the second quarter. Play action. Jackson goes throw back in the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona. What a tippy toe grab by the receiver. And that was Connor Weston with the catch. Wigmore, 5-step drop, back of the end zone, touchdown! Lloyd Graham Jr. is on the football in that sea of humanity. And man, DJ Moses is still on his feet. I thought he was bottled up well before the line to gain, and he somehow makes a big play out of nothing out to the Baltimore 42-yard line. Well, they'll burn their first time out. What a play, DJ Moses. Jackson wants it all. End zone, touchdown, Arizona. Connor Weston beats the defense right off the line.
On and to say, hey, and Ashley Dixon goes, I'll throw this long ball here to Weston.
And pretty good as well, 15 of 23, 144 yards and 3 touchdowns. As DJ Moses is off to the races. I don't think Stack of Paper is going to be able to catch him. Moses, 10-5, touchdown, Scorpions.
And that's just what happened. Short play for Punk, gets 7-8 yards, and then DJ Moses, boom, shakalaka to the end zone.
56-yard rumble there for DJ Moses. You saw it early on right at the line of scrimmage that he was just going to break this one. Wigmore over the middle, tipped and picked off in the end zone. Bring him back out to the 20-yard line as Shad Allen makes the pick off the tip drill.
Shad Allen just grabs it right off the tip. I don't know who tipped it.
Still 7 in the box for Baltimore. Moses sidesteps the defender. That's the best play I've ever seen. You got to be kidding me, DJ Moses. And he's going to get into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona. Put that on the top 10.
What in the world, DJ Moses? That touchdown was pure genius.
Hand off, Murray right up the middle, and he's got space inside the 10. They'll mark him right down at the 10-yard line for a first and goal. Running threat. Wigmore to throw. In the middle of the end zone, touchdown. Suddeth gets in there just barely, and that'll narrow the gap. Wigmore, back of the end zone, touchdown Baltimore, and it ain't over yet.
Yeah, this game is not over by a long shot.
To make it a 3-point game. Wigmore over the middle. Caught. 2-point conversion is good. We've got a 3-point ball game with 50 seconds to go. Tarkington going to do the little okey doke move. Ball is up there, and Arizona comes down with it till just north of the 10-yard line, and that'll do it. Arizona wins the football game by 3, 35-32 at home at Fatality Field. And what a win for this Scorpions coaching staff.
Towards the outside. Oh, nice shoulder tackle. No way! Unreal!
Back, hold down. Pautee will send it up, and it is no good! Off the crossbar!
Welcome back to Crunch Time with Ethan Muslin. I'm Josh Zirkle. 13 weeks down, Ethan, and just one more week to go until the playoffs.
Yeah, one more week to go. A lot of playoff implications on the line from this week's slate of games. We've had a full set. Let's not dilly-dally around. Let's get you around the league.
Charleston entered the week 5-5. Could the Mammals get it done against the Swarm in Atlanta? Always tough to win on the road in this league. Bryant Dynasty was not going to make it any easier. Although Corey Menor had other ideas. Big interception there to start the game. Dynasty would continue to deal, and for good reason. Siege Falco finds his way to the end zone, and Atlanta takes the lead. It's 7-3 on that reception from Falco. Kentez Johnson has time to throw, has a receiver to throw too, Ken Maccaro, and he is gone. Touchdown Charleston. Maccaro, one of the more underrated receivers in the entire SFL, getting it done on that play, and Charleston retakes the lead. Kentez Johnson throwing to the end zone this time. A nice lob to Jay Taylor, and Taylor has a touchdown there. Keith Swearigan cashes in on short yardage, and Charleston pouring it on to start the second half. This is the opening second half kickoff, and Jay Taylor on his own goal line is going to beat the pile and make it all the way to the left sideline. He is gone 100 yards, coast to coast, kick return touchdown for Jay Taylor, and Charleston would not look back. Dynasty trying to get his team back into this thing, and that ball is tipped, and Johnny Bravo is going to come up with another interception. Dynasty would have 2 interceptions on the day, would get sacked twice also. Pretty good day for the Charleston defense. Kentez Johnson continuing to deal, and has Taylor again. A one-handed catch on his way to the end zone. Charleston comes out with a big win on the road, 44-27, your final.
Hey, we got plenty more to recap. More Crunch Time is coming up right after this.
Joining us once again, the editor-in-chief of Swamp Talk, the SFL's leading periodical, and the general manager of the Louisiana Revolution, our SFL insider, Ross Napoli. Ross, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well, Josh. Glad to be back.
Glad to have you back. Let's start with some of the stuff happening around the league. Obviously, we have team expansion, but there's other stuff happening, like these league partnerships. Esports TV has signed on to partner with the SFL, and now Rare Drop, who is going to be broadcasting some of the SFL's playoff games. Ross, what can you tell us about these new relationships with the league?
Well, I think they're both going to be real exciting ones for the league here, Josh. You know, speaking to some people around the league and some of the people who are integral parts of bringing these deals to the league, they both bring something that the league was desperately, I think, in need of outside of the deal with NXT, and that's a little bit of unique status within their own realms of what they bring. And that brings us to like the ESTV deal. It's a two-year deal, which will run through the winter season of 2024 for us. And this is a really big deal, I think, because this is another network that does a lot of televising of leagues like ours. You know, the league sent streams over to ESTV just this week to make sure that everything was good to go. There was going to be no glitches in streaming and doing any of that stuff. And from what I hear, everything is good. Everything worked out. All the production is working. So we're ready to kind of kick that deal off relatively soon. They're based out in LA. So they have a nice production studio out there, which I'm led to believe is kind of at the SFL's disposal. So maybe for future events, such as rookie drafts or any other live events, we may be able to utilize that stuff to either further what we've got televised on ESTV. This very show, Crunch Time, next season, will air on ESTV at a set schedule and time. Hasn't been determined yet, of course, but we will be one of the premier shows for the SFL on ESTV next season, which is real exciting. And the league actually has another meeting this week, Thursday, to discuss some marketing strategies and some other things to further on the summer season coming up with ESTV. So that one sounds really exciting. As far as Rare Drop goes, different sort of company that really I think is going to bring a new element to the league. You know, they specialize in live events and are actually a talent agency for the biggest streamers out there. So this is really going to give us some good exposure as a league. They have a relationship with the Tampa Bay Lightning and Full Sail University in Orlando down in Florida. So we're hoping that the connections with those, that team and that university or whatever, can give a little bit more exposure and help bring live events from the SFL down to Florida and some other areas that are affiliated with them. So that could really be a positive for the league. Rare Drop is a new division of their company, but they have the same sort of vision as the SFL does. You know, they want to merge the idea of real sports with virtual reality, simulation sports, and esports. From what I understand, they do some sim gaming over there, but didn't have a football outlet or cog to what's going on with them. So instead of starting from scratch or to try to develop something to fit into what they were doing, it was the perfect timing to go ahead and partner with the SFL and bring that football element to their arsenal over there. And the last thing that I got with them is that there's going to be a 2-day expo, the GCX Rare Drop convention. The SFL is going to have a booth at this convention. When the league finalizes the details, date, time, place, all of that stuff, it's going to be released to the league in the hopes that some people from the community would not only want to attend the expo, but could possibly contribute with the booth to promote their own teams, the SFL, and anything else that we've got to get out there to make sure that in the future we can really promote the SFL as best as we can with this new relationship with Rare Drop.
Very exciting stuff happening on a league level on a lot of fronts. Stay tuned for all of that. Turning to on-the-field action now. We just saw Baltimore lose their second straight game. We'll get to more of that in a minute. Kevin Say, who I thought was our front runner, in a bit of a matchup with Scott Johnson when DC hooked up with Las Vegas. Las Vegas came out ahead of that. Kevin Say lost some of that mojo. He hasn't had a 100-yard rushing game since February 26th. Is he still your front runner for MVP? And if not, is he still in the running? And who is your front runner?
Well, and this, I think, is the great part of the SFL season to even have a conversation like this, right? Because you and I were on the same page for a little while when DC was just running rampant over everybody. It was due to Kevin Say. He was clearly the front runner for a while. In my mind, that has changed. My opinion is not going to be a popular one, but we're going to have to go and put that out there anyway. I think Kevin Say is definitely still in the running with this league. As far as even like an Ezekiel Love, there are people out there who are definitely belong in this conversation. But I started some conversation about a month and a half ago in Gen Chat when Louisiana was in the midst of their 6-game win streak. And that was, and what probably still is, the unpopular opinion of the SFL MVP this year, in my mind, is kicker Otis Boudreaux. I do not believe that there is a player who is more important to the success of their team up until this point, and that's coming from a guy who's in the locker room, okay? This is a league that has had no problems in the community telling everybody that Louisiana can't score touchdowns. They're only all about Otis Boudreau. He leads them in points. He leads the way. If they didn't have Otis Boudreau, they probably wouldn't win a game. So now it's time to put your money where your mouth is. Otis Boudreau is going to lead the league in field goal attempts and field goals made, and he's going to set the all-time SFL record in one season. He's had games where we shut teams out 15-0, and they were all field goals. The following week, he followed it up with 7 field goals and provided 21 points in a victory for us. I challenge anybody to tell me that there is a more important person on their team for their success than Otis Boudreau has been for the Louisiana Revolution. I think this is a unique opportunity for this community in this league to do something that not only has never been done in this league before, but in any professional sport when it comes to football or whatever, and name a kicker, an unglorified position, to the most valuable player of the league. My vote's been Otis for a little while now, and I think it's time for everybody to get behind the bandwagon.
I love the way that you phrase that too, because that's always the debate with the MVP award. Is it the best player in the league, or is it, by the legal definition, the player most valuable to his team? And I think you've made a great case for Otis, an ironclad case, really, because if that's your definition, I don't see how you go anywhere other than Otis Boudreau.
Absolutely. And as I said, even before I mentioned Otis, I think Ezekiel Love belongs in the conversation. And Portland's only won 2 games. But Ezekiel Love is at the top of this league in rushing. And if you look at Portland's games going down the line, it's not like they've been blown out in every game. They've been in a lot of games. And if you look at Ezekiel Love's performance in those games, they wouldn't have even been in those positions if he didn't have those types of games. So Ezekiel Love has been an integral part of the little success that Portland's had this year. But he's every bit of a star player in this league. And when you're talking about most valuable player, it has to do with the individual and what they mean to their team. And it doesn't always have to, result into wins. Because if we got a guy leading this league in rushing, he's doing something right, even if their team's got 9 losses right now.
Solid arguments, multiple arguments there. One more question for you.
Give me the one.
Yeah. The defense rests.
Right.
Let's talk about Baltimore for a minute. Arizona, I don't want to say shock the world, because Arizona's a good team. They've had some tough luck this season. They got a win off of Baltimore, granted in their own building. But we thought the Vultures were a runaway 1 seed. They've come back to the pack in a big way. Should Baltimore be worried at this point? And the second part of that, have you seen a trend like this before? Because remember, they lost the last game of the season last year to London, and London got in because of that win. Is this a trend historically where the top seed boom, 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 and then kind of falls back to the pack a little bit as the regular season ends?
Well, it's an interesting dynamic when it comes to this stuff, because most of the time, I don't believe it's a trend, right? It just depends on what the team wanted to do when it was going into that game. I don't believe that Baltimore did this year in these last 2 games what most believe they did last year in losing that last game to London. It seemed to be they had everything locked up. They had nothing to lose. They kind of tried something a little different in the last game. It didn't go the way that they wanted, and then the rest of the way, they righted the ship. This year, I don't believe that that's the case, because they're running neck and neck with Vancouver here for that 1 seed, and now's not the time to just, the proverbial, throw stuff at the wall to see what sticks. They were dominating throughout the season, and I do believe that there is cause for other teams to start realizing they got to be a little bit more in depth when they prepare for Baltimore. Now, I don't think that they should be worried, because They still have a great record. If it stays the way that it is in the last season, they're going to be the number 2 seed. They're still the highest scoring team in the league. They still average scoring more points than anybody else. You know, they're not a notch below anyone in my book. But you take 2 losses, you take 2 losses. We're on the same slide in Louisiana, right? And I'm sure people are not viewing us in Baltimore the same way, but the same thing. You know, we have the second longest winning streak aside from Baltimore with 6 in a row. And we've run into 2 teams that have just had our number, you know, and we dropped 2 in a row. So, you know, it is something that is concerning to a staff where you're saying, wow, we really didn't think this was going to happen. We're going to have to make sure that we right this ship and pretty quick. But we've seen it before. You know, we've seen it in previous seasons where towards the end of the season, that top team just gets knocked down a rung. It's temporary, and they right the ship for the playoffs. And Baltimore's been one of those teams in the very recent past. So I don't think that there's any cause of concern, and wouldn't be shocked if Baltimore was playing in the championship game again this year.
Can't say I would be either. Swamp Talk, available every week. Ross Napoli, available here every week. Ross, thanks so much.
Thanks, Josh.
Hey, hold your horses, bud. There's plenty more to come. We got more crunch time right after the break.
The Fury in D.C. ready to face the Dragons with Kevin Say. Get his team over the top. Scott Johnson came prepared. Mr. Johnson goes to Washington, but he fumbles the ball. And D.C. was going to recover that. Nice job by Kappa Jones to pop it out. And the homeboys fall on it. Shabazz Synergy is going to throw this to Kevin Say. And Kevin Say with a spin move there into plus territory. And he is ready to get this party started. Later in the drive, Synergy would find Say on the swing pass, and he is in for the touchdown. His only receiving touchdown of the sesh. Synergy continuing to deal, though, and finding Jeff Banfield in the end zone. And he's got a touchdown, and DC's up 14-0. Dragons not finished yet, throwing over the middle. Lauren Percoco, and Percoco's going to break a tackle. And she's into the red zone, down at the 7. Next play, you know who. Kevin Say getting it done. Vegas adds a field goal at the end of the half to make it 21-6. Matt Rage politely applauding. And would do a little bit more after watching this catch from Scott Fowl. And Fowl's into the end zone. The Fury are not dead yet. Synergy dealing to the left side. He's got Churchill. Excuse me, that's Jeff Banfield again. Banfield comes up with a big gain. Potty would be good for 23 yards to make it an 11-point lead. Plenty of time left, though, for Las Vegas. Joseph Green teals to the left side. That is caught! And John Blades has a touchdown. And a chance to make this a closer game. Matt Rage will have a chip shot of his own there. And now it's an 8-point game. DC couldn't get it done on offense. They're going to punt it away. Doug Britton. Spin move. Beats the defenders. There's no one left to tackle him. And Britton, perennial special teams threat, has a touchdown. The 2-point conversion would tie the game. Joseph Green under pressure. He's sacked. And so the lead remains 2 for DC. Benny Butcher and Bam Bam Cook coming up with it. Matt Rage, with 32 seconds left, would drill one for 45 yards to give Vegas a 1-point lead. Matt Rage is ecstatic. Synergy trying to drive down the field. They get into plus territory and burn a timeout. But they are out a ways. And so Potty is going to have to cash this in for 49 yards. Spot is down. Kick is up. But it is off the crossbar. No good. And Vegas is going to steal one. off the East Coast. The House wins again, 25-24.
LA taking a trip south of the border to Mexico City to take on the Aztecs. Start ourselves here in the second quarter. Pass here to Ray Bentley. Nice little post route. Gets into the end zone for the score. First touchdown of the day for Mexico City. They led it 7-0. Later on in the first quarter, another pass here. Intercepted by Rochelle Colston off the deflection. Unfortunate circumstance there for Matt Wilson. That would be his one pick of the day, though. But they would get the ball back. Phoenix Jones would get into the end zone for the score. And ended up making it 14-0. Now 14-3 in the second quarter. Sully Richardson with the deep pass on the deflection. Tipped away. Caught by Davius Reed. He's gone. Gets into the house for the score. Now it's 14-10. LA trying to get back in, but Phoenix Jones just will not allow LA to breathe. He gets another touchdown here. He would have 4 on the day, 3 of them on the ground. Richardson trying to get LA back into it, but another interception here, this one by Jeffrey Daggs, to give the ball right back to Mexico City. Closing out the first half, Phoenix Jones says, boom, I'm going to play some bowling. And he gets himself into the end zone for the score. It'll be Mexico City versus Lone Star for the whole South Enchilada. They beat LA 38-23.
Time to step back in the kitchen with Mike St. Green, SFL studio analyst and London wide receiver. What is sizzling this week? Week 13, heading into week 14. Mike, how are you?
Hey, doing great, Josh. Good to be back on. And I'll tell you what's sizzling. The Sioux Falls Sparrows and the Tulsa Desperados, man, these two teams are sizzling. These guys have, totally turned their fortunes around from last season. These guys picked 1 and 2 in the draft this past season, and they are right here in the playoff picture. Sioux Falls has actually won their division and clinched the playoff spot, and Tulsa with a huge win this past weekend over Louisiana. They're right there in the playoff picture as well at 6-5, and a win next week will assure these guys of a spot.
Yeah, they are both sizzling, and they've both been fun teams to watch. Exciting run games, great running backs, really complete teams, and can't wait to see what they do in the postseason. Another thing I'd love to ask you about, Mike, is fresh ingredients. Who is looking ripe and pristine on the shelf right now in your kitchen?
Well, I'm gonna tell you who's fresh, and you can't get more fresh than the Canton Classics, Josh. I mean, these guys are expansion hopefuls. I just saw these guys interview with Ashley Jackson about a week or so ago, and I was impressed with what they were doing then. I like the team's colors. I like their scheme. I like what I like their concept. I like what these guys are doing. These guys have a presence on Instagram now. I'm not sure about Twitter. I haven't seen them there, but their social media presence is there. And the main thing I like about these guys, Josh, that they haven't been around long, but they're showing their enthusiasm and love for the league. And one thing I would ask the current owners and the old guard, if you will, to consider from these guys is I see a lot of myself in this Canton ownership when I first came into the league. I mean, no one knew who I was, but I knew that I was sold on this league from the very first week that I joined, and I knew I was going to be around. So don't hold this against these guys. And I'll use a disclaimer real quick. Have never spoken to either of these of these guys. I just could kind of feel their passion and see their passion. I see a lot of myself in these guys. So don't just overlook these guys because they are young in the league and a little bit inexperienced. Look at what these guys are doing and give these guys a shot.
Christian Allegio and Adam Chance put together quite a bit, and they are turning some heads. And I think with 4 teams coming into the league, plenty of room for some new guys in the SFL. From new guys to a finished product, Mike, who's ready to get plated up and sent out into the kitchen and set on the table?
This has to be the Vancouver Legion. I mean, I think these guys are primed and ready to go to make a serious championship run this season. They've always been right there on the cusp, season in and season out. Andy always have these guys in, playoff positioning. They're always going to make the playoff, but they always seem to, it's at one game in the playoffs that they seem to fall short, but they've always had the guys in place. The defense has been solid. And, of course, we know about the weapons on offense with Tom Pepper. He's having another solid season. He's, seventh in the league in passing yards, but it's a balanced attack over there this season. Robert Redford, he's eighth in the league in rushing. He's over 1,000 yards after this past week's games. Kendra Hall, she's over 1,000 yards receiving. So these guys can definitely make things happen on offense. But the defensive side, we know that they're solid over there. They have at least 5 players on that defense, Josh, with over 7 season experience in the league, and they're led by Mark Lopez over there. He has 95 tackles and 5 interceptions, so solid all the way around. And they finally got a kicker, a contract kicker on that roster. So if they need a big kick in the playoffs, chance to win, we'll obviously give them a chance to win. So these guys are complete, ready to go, and they're in the number 1 seed. They couldn't be in a better position. They're going to be at home all the way through the playoffs if they started right now. So the Vancouver Legion, man, they're cooked and ready to go.
They've been a very exciting team for some time. 2 safeties last week against Houston. Tremendous on both sides of the ball. And is there anybody you want to send back? Anybody that's going to get sent back to the back for a couple minutes on the grill, on the skillet? Who's fitting that bill today?
Well, Josh, it's late in the season, and a lot of these teams have struggled, coming down the stretch. And I'm kind of feeling generous. I don't know if I want to send anybody back right now, but a couple of these teams is on to next season, so to speak. And then San Diego Mavericks, they started off great. We thought these guys were going to make a serious push, but they've lost their last, I think, 7. And so, these guys are, looking to next season, and another team I'll put in that category that we thought were going to take that next step this season, or the Portland Fleet. I mean, these guys, they just, got a couple of wins over the past couple of weeks and turned things around. But they've been great all season for the most part. But they've lost, I think, number of games by less than 7 points. They just could not, make that next step and get over that threshold, so to speak, and make a playoff push. But, it's on to next season for these 2 teams, and we're looking for them to make a push next season. But, these guys will be great next season, I'm sure.
Yeah, a lot of talent in those teams as well, and I hope a lot of those guys come back and give it another push there in the next coming season. Mike St. Green, great to have you in the kitchen, Mike.
All right, thanks, Josh.
Coming up, we've got extended highlights from the I-95-alry, plus Houston, Vancouver, and Lone Star San Diego. More crunch time coming up. I promise I won't call it the I-95-alry ever again. Florida visiting Jacksonville. Charlie Boletsky, shoot me. Into the end zone for an early score. Florida's up 7-0. Marcus Dunhill dealing and getting picked off. This is Adam Jones, and there's nobody left to tackle Adam Jones. He's going to take it back to the return to sender, pick 6 touchdown. Florida with a big lead early, 20-0 here. Dunhill trying to get his team on the board. He does. Shea Carroll making the catch over the middle. And Jacksonville trying to make a game of it. Dunhill under pressure is going to fumble. And that is Alex Dominguez picking it up and get a pretty significant return for a big man. Looking at there, surprised that didn't call in the grasp. No whistle. And Dominguez runs away with the turnover. Cochran is going to get picked off here. That's Connor Darien taking points off the board in the red zone. But Florida had other plans. Boletsky with his second touchdown. Jacksonville, last gasp here in the fourth quarter. Dunhill's going to throw this to Andrew Francis. Another interception. And Florida is going to win the I-95 rivalry 33-21.
Glory making their way down to San Diego. First and goal. Run here from Isaac McBride into the end zone from a few inches out. That would give Lone Star now a 10-0 lead. Second quarter, San Diego looking to answer back. Liam Hammer gets a huge reception here, and he's gone to the corner, in for the end zone. There's your score. San Diego back in this game. Now midway through the second, pass here caught by Ziggy Hronek. Nice little cross route, gets to the end zone, gets the score. Now it's a 10-point lead. San Diego looking to answer back. About 4 minutes to go in the half, and they get a huge pass to Liam Hammer. Once again, he goes to the house, gets another touchdown. Fantastic play. Now with a 3-point difference. This pass intercepted after getting caught in the air. What an incredible pick on that play. Taken down back to the Lone Star 35. They would answer with another big pass up the middle. Gunnar Lewis with the score. San Diego would take the lead after that touchdown, 21-17. About 2.5 to go in the third. Another interception, this one by Ray Lenurl III, getting it caught into the end zone for the touchback, keeping San Diego into nice territory. Then on the next play, deep pass, caught. Gunnar Lewis looks like he's gone once again, but he gets taken down to the 7-yard line to be a 74-yard completion. And the little quick pass a couple plays later for the score to Bill Cherry, the tight end. San Diego was not done yet. They wanted to improve on their record from last year. But this pass to the glory for the score. That's Dave Axis with the catch. They would go for 2 to try and tie the game. Look at that little celebration. Have yourself a day, sir. Handoff here to McBride up the middle is good, and we got ourselves a tie ball game at 28 apiece. With about 5 minutes left in the fourth, this pass intercepted by Mickey McGuire. Patterson had himself not that great of a day. 5 interceptions. Lone Star with a chance for the kick to take the lead. It's no good. It's missed, and now San Diego thought they'd have a chance, but Lone Star would get it right back. Ike McBride to the right side for the score, the game winner. Lone Star win 35-28.
Houston fighting for their playoff lives at one of the toughest venues in the SFL. North of the border, Tom Pepper of Vancouver is going to get picked off early by Brady Clark. And Clark will advance this into plus territory, giving the Hyenas an early turnover. Vancouver back on offense in the second. Robert Redford's going to fumble, and Brady Clark is there to scoop it up. Realizing nobody's touched him, take another look. Scoops it up, nobody touches him. And then finally, he decides to get up and advance the ball, and he gets it to the 10. A couple plays later, Brad Jones with a spin move, and he's into the end zone. And now Houston has an early lead. It's 10-3. Tom Pepper throwing over the middle. That's intercepted. Brady Clark again, his second interception of the half. And Houston would cash it in. Kyle Finnemore coming up with a touchdown there. Houston's not done yet. Brad Jones, hit me, baby, one more time. And Houston up 24-3 against Vancouver. Tom Pepper would throw another interception. This is Roger Law this time, coming up with a pick. And Vancouver can't believe it. Points off the board here. Marco Swift with the initial tip. Law runs it out. Late in the third. Vancouver trying to get back into this. Robert Redford on short yardage, and he's into the end zone. Early in the fourth, Redford spinning out of a couple of tackles. Into plus territory, into field goal range, breaks another tackle there, and he is gone. An inspired run by the Sundance Kid, Robert Redford, and it's a 5-point game. Dave Burr throwing, Dave Burr getting intercepted. That is Marquise Reed, the linebacker, playing almost to Tampa 2 there. Look how deep he is in the coverage. Collects the tip ball, gets a significant return on that. Pepper in the red zone now, and that is caught. Chris Curtis comes up with a touchdown grab. Ain't no thing, dusted himself off, and now Vancouver has the lead. The 2-point conversion is good, and now the Legion are up 3 with 4 minutes to play. Dave Burr is going to watch his receiver fumble the ball. Vancouver recovers, and that would be all she wrote. Vancouver would finish it off 30-24. Up next, Cairo Martinez trying to push his team into the playoffs and his name into the MVP race. More Crunch Time coming up.
Gladiators hoping to keep their season alive as they try to keep themselves up to 500. In the second quarter, Tyler Martinez busts through, and he is gone. Going to take this all the way to the house. Tyler Martinez would get there for 53 yards. That would be half of his 114 yards for the day. St. Louis now up 7-3, now 10-3 in the second quarter. Passed by Matt South, intercepted by Nicholas Warner. Himself a bit of trouble there. Whistle Jones here from the 38-yard field goal is up and good. Get yourself a little W there, big man. Great way to celebrate. Carolina now down by 4. Third quarter, Matt South trying to get his team back into the game, but a bit of a throw here does not hit its mark. Intercepted by Gerald Winkler, putting them in real good territory. Then Kyra Martinez, another bit of a power move there, bit of a Heisman pose, and he's into the end zone for the score. Make it 17-6. Now 20-12. South trying to get his team back in, but another pick from Nicholas Warner. That would seal the deal. So now St. Louis's hopes are still alive. They're at 5-6. One more win to get to 500. They beat Carolina 20-12.
Two of the great young running backs in the SFL going toe-to-toe in this matchup. Here in the black corner, the second-year running back Bailey O'Shaughnessy takes a swing pass, and he's into the end zone. And the Nightwings take an early 7-0 lead. And fighting out of the yellow corner, the rookie, G.P. Wells. And Wells gets a block, and he is gone. 64 yards. Half the Nightwings team is chasing him. They're not going to catch him. And we're knotted at 7 apiece. Wells not done yet. Takes a swing pass, makes a spin move, and will get his team into field goal range there late in the first quarter. And they would get a field goal to make it 10-7. O'Shaughnessy through the heart of the Sioux Falls defense, and he is gone. 63 yards on that rush for touchdown number 2. Eric Price throwing here. John Bonhart is going to intercept that pass. Take another look. Up, and away goes Bonhart to make that interception. And Wells on the ensuing drive would cash it in, do the dirty bird, and we're knotted at 17. O'Shaughnessy gets a block, makes a move, and he's in the end zone for touchdown number 3. And Denver retakes the lead. Sioux Falls not done. Al Dillapre Sr. coming up with a big catch on the sideline to keep the chains moving. Showing tremendous hops there as well. G.P. Wells up the middle. He's got a touchdown. He finished with 118 yards on the ground and 3 scores. Eric Price trying to retake the lead. John Barnhart has different ideas. That's his second pick, and that is good enough for the win. Sioux Falls takes care of business in Denver, 27-24.
Oh, you think we're done? No, we're not done just yet. More crunch time right after this. Portland heading over to the Metroplex to take on the Toros. Already 3-0 in favor of Fort Worth in that Panther Blue today. But the pass here intercepted by Bernard Smith. That would give Portland the football back later in their drive. 3rd and 6. Pass here to the right side for Israel Adams. Gets caught for the touchdown. Portland would take the lead 7-3. Second quarter here. This quick run from Ezekiel Love finds that sweet, sweet pay dirt. That would extend the lead for Portland to 14-3. Handoff here for Jason Williams. He answers right back with a run of his own, 25 yards to the house. That would narrow the gap for the Toros and make it 14-10. Then another pass here. That's to Robert Garrett Jr., the tight end, gets the quick pass, gets it for the score, and then Fort Worth takes the lead, 17-14. Little trouble here for Ezekiel Love, but he finds room, gets to the right side, he's off, manages to get all the way down to the 22-yard line, a 50-yard run. That was be his longest of the day, but this yard was the most important for the score. Portland would take the lead going into the half. Now 21-17 in the third quarter. Pass here from Johnny Reno to the corner. Mike Twinscrew with the catch. Fort Worth would get the lead right back. Now trailing by 3. Portland on 2nd and goal gets the catch. Nelson Lozano Jr. All the tight ends getting love today. Touchdown for Portland made it 28-24. Fourth quarter now. Another pass complete here to Gene Valentine for Portland to extend that lead. Now 35 24. Fort Worth trying to fight back into the game. This catch made by Robert Garrett Jr. just on the edge of the end zone. Thought maybe he had it, didn't have it, but he did. This kick, though, is no good. Oh, despair for Waters on that kick to make it an 8-point game. Didn't happen there. Then on 4th and 10, Fort Worth trying to get back into it, but the short pass not going to do it. That would be a turnover, and Portland would hold on to win 35-30.
Louisiana still in the running for a first-round bye. If they can get by, the Tulsa Desperados, Chase Earl, need a big game. And here, someone having a big game here is Colin Hart on the swing pass. He's into the end zone. Louisiana up 10-0. Then a big catch there. That's Cameron Collier, the fullback, coming up with a catch downfield, making it 1st and goal. A couple plays later, and there is Chase Earl coming with a big toe touch TD. Louisiana looking very strong here, 17-0. Tommy Utah, though, is going to get picked off, and that is Cameron Shaw, and that is a pick 6. Tulsa on the board, 17-7, and then Douglas Brown taking over in short yardage. He would be down at the 1. Couldn't tell if he got in or not. The refs said no. And now a big toe touch there by DJ Hume. Louisiana back against the wall, and now Tulsa takes the lead with that Douglas Brown touchdown. It's 21-20. Otis Boudreaux, can he save his team? That is good from 29 yards. And Louisiana has a lead. Hi-ya! Eric LaSalle from ER. Third quarter now. Utah picked off again. That is Ricky Thornton. And Tulsa back at business. Take another look. Just overthrew the receiver by that much. And now Douglas Brown, his 3rd touchdown of the game, reeling it in. Last gasp for Louisiana. That's Cameron Shaw coming up with his 2nd pick in the end zone. Bit of a questionable hit there. No question about this game, though. Tulsa out on top, 28-23. Up next, the commish is out, but the tradition lives on. Game balls! The rest of Crunch Time right after this. Game balls! Cam's not here, so Mike St. Green, give us our first game ball.
First game ball, Josh, is Ken Macaro. Had a great game against Atlanta. They were 44-27 in a big victory. Kept the Charleston Predators playoffs hopes alive. 7 for 127 yards and a touchdown. Ken Macaro gets my first game ball.
All right, Mike, give us one more game ball. Let's put a bow on this.
Yeah, second game ball was another team, Josh, that were, they were right there on the cusp. They needed this win, and this guy stepped up big. Cairo Martinez had a huge game for St. Louis in that victory over Carolina, 20-12 in that game. But he went for 13 for 114 yards and a couple of touchdowns. It was a huge reason why St. Louis stayed in this playoff hunt, and they're looking to get a victory next week to try to clinch a bid.
Yeah, Cairo Martinez has been an absolute beast. The capital of Egypt is absolutely him. Those are game balls.
For Josh Circle, I'm Ethan Muslin. See you next time. Keep on crunching.
You save any of that for me?